Good evening, welcome to ITV News. This is Calendar with Christine Talbot and David Hurst.
Here are tonight's main stories. But first tonight, the debilitating after effects of COVID-19 that one South Yorkshire GP has described as life-changing almost a year since she contracted the virus.
Dr Lisa Phillip from Sheffield fell ill 2 days after the start of the first national lockdown. But even to this day, she suffers ongoing symptoms and even has periods where she struggles to sit upright.
Well, she's now urging everyone to get the vaccine because of the lasting effects of the virus, even among those whose early symptoms were mild. Michael Billington reports.
Dr Lisa Phillip ending that report by Michael Billington. Now, tomorrow's budget statement will see North Yorkshire MP and Chancellor Rishi Sunak take to his feet in the Commons to announce the latest financial plan to take us out of the pandemic.
The government has spent billions on support schemes, including topping up universal credit by £20.
Sheffield's Metro Mayor wants the uplift to be made permanent, while there are also claims that the benefit is not enough to live on, even with the extra money. Katie Oscroft reports from Sheffield.
Well, many of the budget details appear to have been leaked to the media, but there's much more to tomorrow's announcement from Chancellor Sunak. Now, the budget, of course, affects every part of our lives, and for couples planning their big day, the last 12 months has been a logistical nightmare.
The businesses that help turn a couple's dream wedding day into a reality fear they may be facing up to 2 years of hardship by the time the industry gets back on its feet.
Burton Constable Hall in East Yorkshire had grand plans to stage large weddings on the country estate for the first time in its 700-year history before the pandemic. But now it could be next year before confidence returns. Jonathan Brown reports.
Now, still to come, Smile.
Well, more of the day's news now. And the widow of a man who died on a smart motorway near Sheffield has staged a protest calling for the police to consider corporate manslaughter charges in his case. Claire Mercer there. Well, now the number of train journeys we take may have plummeted in the last 12 months, but the statutory body Transport for the North, which was set up to look at how to improve transport links to level up the north-south divide, have now agreed a final plan that they hope the government will back. Well, earlier I spoke to Tim Wood, who's the Northern Powerhouse Rail Director, and I started by asking him about the cost and how it will benefit the region. Mary, thank you. Some sad news there. Well, isolation has allowed eating disorders to thrive, according to experts, and there are fears that the number of people experiencing eating disorders has soared during the pandemic. One charity says calls to its helpline have increased by 173% over the last year.
It's thought there are now more than 5 million closed-circuit television cameras across the UK. That's one camera for every 13 people, with the vast majority operated by private businesses and households.
Well, one of the biggest growth areas in surveillance is doorbells that incorporate video cameras where the footage can be accessed by the owner from anywhere.
Depending on what can be seen by the camera, though, the owner may be subject to data privacy regulations. Kevin Ashford has been hearing from one owner from South Yorkshire who says it's brought him peace of mind.
It's amazing what you can catch on your doorbell. And it's amazing for...
Well, yeah, it's
great.
great.
Before we go, how about this for a delicate bit of manoeuvring at Cannon Hall Farm at Cawthorne near Barnsley. Oh, that's just lovely,
great,
isn't it? What a place to rest, eh? Here's John now with the weather.
John, thank you. The national and international stories are next with Mary Nightingale.
But for now, from all the team here on Calendar, thanks for watching. Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye. Well, good evening. Welcome to ITV News. This is Calendar with Christine Talbot and David Hurst.
And here are tonight's main stories.
The Chancellor's being urged not to overlook a growing number of families living on the breadline when he decides whether to extend the £20 increase to universal credit in tomorrow's budget.
One advisor who helps people in Sheffield to claim benefits says he simply couldn't survive on the amount his clients receive.
And the city's mayor is calling for the £20 uplift, which was introduced to help people through lockdown, to be made permanent to help level up the north-south divide. Katie Oscroft reports.
Well, as we heard, there are calls for the Chancellor to extend the universal credit uplift in tomorrow's budget and to continue support for businesses badly hit by lockdown. Councillors in Bradford today approved plans for a clean air zone in the city. The most polluting lorries and buses will be charged up to £50 a day to enter the area.
Now, still ahead, don't come calling.
Well, more of the day's news, and the widow of a man who died when a lorry crashed into his vehicle in a live lane of the M1 Smart motorway in Sheffield has staged a protest on what would have been his 46th birthday. But one of the biggest growth areas in surveillance is doorbells fitted with video cameras where the footage can be accessed remotely. And while these can make our homes more secure, they can also raise questions over privacy. Kevin Ashford has been speaking to a security-conscious homeowner in South Yorkshire. Well, the ITV Evening News continues at 6:30. Here's a look at what's happening with Mary Nightingale.
Mary, thank you. Now, isolation has allowed eating disorders to thrive, according to experts, and there are fears the number of people experiencing eating disorders has soared during the pandemic. One charity says calls to its helpline have increased more than 150%.
Experts say it's crucial that people look out for friends or family members who may not realise they're living with an eating disorder. Former Emmerdale actor Gemma Oaten is among those urging people to get help as early as they can. Here's Derek Johnson. Now, the Rugby League referee James Childs says the response to going public with his sexuality has been overwhelmingly positive.
Yes, the 37-year-old from Dewsbury came out as gay to his work colleagues over 10 years ago, but decided to speak openly last week in the hope of changing attitudes towards homosexuality within sport. Chris Dawkes has been to see him.
Good to hear him and see that all is well there. Well, John is with us now. John, it's been a rotten,
cold grey sort of a day.
See you later, John.
OK.
Well, finally tonight, with all the foreign travel off the cards until at least May the 17th, any ideas of getting away to tropical paradise is still wishful thinking.
Not so for Dr. Simon Alpin from Sheffield. His fear of flying meant he was never going to see a tropical rainforest in person, so he spent the last 30 years bringing his own little bit of the Amazon to his backyard. Sarah Clark went to see him. Must have cost him an absolute fortune, but as he said, magical for the children.
I know, I don't blame him. Just needs that kind of his bird song sounds, doesn't he? Just to add in there. Anyway, here's John. Let's hope it is as warm as that with the weather. I think it was wishful thinking, hoping for jungle weather, really.
John, thank you. The national and international stories are next with Mary Nightingale.
Yeah, we're back tomorrow. Bye-bye for now, though.